I'm Amy Giaquinto and I am Mama Fix-It. And on today's episode, we're gonna finish getting the sprinkler system in the backyard up and running. Yay! If you remember from the last episode, we had that PVC pipe break, so we couldn't test out the valves. So in this episode, we're gonna go and check out the sprinkler valves. To check our valves, you're gonna want a flathead screwdriver to open the box. You're gonna want a Phillips head screwdriver in case you need to do some work with valves, and your trusty channel locks. All we need to do is open the valve box, which by this point we should be getting very familiar with how to do that. Just wedge this in here. I have to do, there you go. Okay, see, here are our valves. This is a solenoid here. These are the valves themselves that actually turn, have the on and off switch. There's like a little ball in here that shuts things off. So I want to test each of the zones first. I'm going to use my trusty channel locks. Remember how much I love these things? And I'm going to turn on zone number 4. Not sure why we're leaking there. There's a little gasket that fits in there, and clearly that gasket is leaking in that zone. So I'll show you how to fix that in a second. Looks like that's our project for the day. Anyway, looks like we have sprinkler action on zone 4. Shut this off. Fortunately, all we need to do is take the thing apart, and if that doesn't work, we can replace it. So the first thing you want to do when you're going to work on your valves, of course, is to shut the water off. Otherwise, you're going to take a bath like this. Yikes! But you know what? Okay. Sometimes it's a good idea to just let it fountain like this, because sometimes there's a piece of crud in there that's preventing the valve from shutting off. So there we have it. And let's see if that works. It should turn off the sprinkler in any minute now. Okay, sprinkler, did you hear what I said? It should turn you off. I might need to tighten that a little bit more. Okay, here we go. That was not the problem because we're still leaking. So let's go dive into this valve. Into the deep, dark recesses of my basement I go. Ah! There's a spider in here. Oh, don't worry. It's just a Halloween decoration. If your shutoff valve is running along with your pipe, that means it's on. If it is perpendicular to your pipe, it is off. Okay, now that the water is off, we're gonna get back down and disassemble that valve and see what the problem is. But first, I have a little life hack that will save you a lot of knee pain. I like to use my super soft flip-flops as knee pads. Bump, but dump. We're gonna disassemble this completely. I'm gonna pull this solenoid off, completely off again. So, do. It's crying! Ah! So then the next thing I want to do is I want to unscrew these 4 screws right here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, so that I can actually access the guts of the valve. So I'm going to use my Phillips head screwdriver, and I'm going to unscrew it. And then I'm going to put my screws in a location where they're not going to get lost. And what I like to do is flip over my valve cover because it's got all these nice little spots. And then I'm just going to put my screws right in there so that I don't lose them. So all I want to do is pop this off. And I hope none of you get nauseous over seeing guts. Ah, there's guts. Look at, that's so simple, right? It's just a spring and it's a gasket basically, or whatever. So I'm going to pull this off because sometimes you get dirt. I mean, I can already see some dirt in here, and sometimes that can be a problem when it comes to your valve not working correctly. There we go. Nice and gentle. Okay. See the water coming out of that looks pretty clean. I don't see much dirt there, but there's definitely some dirt here. So let's go in. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to wash this out. See, there's also this little filter right here. Isn't that cool? And it's easy to remember which side goes up because this is the bottom side and it's the side with the filter that goes down. And this is only really going to fit in here one way. I mean, if I tried to fit it this way, you know, that doesn't even look remotely right, and the cover is not going to go back on. So let's go wash this off. Someone's about to get a little surprise. Sorry, I'm going to water over here. Got the crud on this side. Got the crud on this side. Clean that little filter out. Now that that's clean, let's go put it back together. I'm gonna line up my hole here and push this on here. And I wanna make sure and we get a nice clean seat all the way around there. And that's sitting nice and flat. Now we're gonna put the spring back on. Don't wanna forget that, that's for sure. Just set that in there, like this. And now we're gonna put the cover on. So it goes like this. And this is a little trickier just because, see, it's on the spring and it's kind of wobbly there. So now we're going to take our screws and we're just going to compress that and screw these in. I like to get them started and then work on the screws in an opposing order, so diagonal from each other, so that we can get a really nice seat here. Because remember, this is where it was leaking last time. So now I'm going to use my Phillips head screwdriver and I'm going to tighten these down. All right, now we're going to replace the solenoid again, which is this. See, look at the inside of it. Isn't that cool? It's just got like a little filter. Okay, so I'm going to screw this in. That's better. All right, now that that's all reassembled, I'm going to go turn the water back on downstairs and cross my fingers this works. Let's go. Now that my water is back on, let's check the valves. Nothing is leaking so far, but I didn't expect it to be because the valves are both off. So let's go check this sprinkler head real fast. It looks like our leak is solved. So that may have fixed the problem, but we're gonna turn on this zone and see, make sure it turns on and off appropriately. Okay, I think I'm gonna turn it on from my sprinkler panel though, because I'm getting tired of squatting down on the ground. Because I'm basically gonna turn it to auto. I'm gonna hit enter. 1, 2, 3, and then it'll give me my zone numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna enter my number of minutes. 4 minutes should be plenty. That valve is totally not leaking. It's not leaking, it's not leaking. We fixed that valve, and check this out. The sprinkler is running. That's exactly what we need. Okay, one final test. We need to shut it off and make sure that that's not leaking anymore. Hey, hey, is it oozing anywhere? No, it's not. So we fixed it. This has got to be a first. Oh my gosh. Nothing else went wrong so far. So yeah, that's all it took. All it took was just cleaning out that valve gasket. And now we have a functional backyard system. Yay! Now that we have a functional backyard sprinkler system, let's put the lid back on this valve so nobody falls in to the hole, hurts themselves, and destroys our system. And we're gonna pick up our tools, and that's it. And if that valve was still leaking, it's not that hard to replace a sprinkler valve, because literally all you have to do is unscrew it here at this threaded area and here, and then you can pop in a brand new valve. And most of the time when you buy valves, they come with brand new solenoids as well. So I brought one out here just in case, and it doesn't look like I need it. So, yay. I can't believe this is working the first try. I mean, normally when you're in these projects, in the real world and not on any other home improvement show, like we're talking the real world, you always encounter this cascade of stuff that keeps going wrong, and you have to know how to fix all of it. But I can't believe this worked this time, the first try. I'm so excited. And you should be too. Because now it gives us the opportunity to do another project on the same episode. I have my little garden here. See my beautiful garden, but some of my plants are looking a little sad. See, that's my watermelon. It's not quite growing because I don't think it's getting enough water. And this is a cucumber over here, same thing. There's some basil back there. You can see it's not doing very well. I think I'd like to change out that sprinkler head for a soaker line. So I went to the hardware store and I was looking around and I found this cool nifty doodad. And see how it's got the female adapter? Well, you know what? If I put one of these risers in, I can screw this all together. See if you can see. My threads need to be washed before I do that too much more. But I can screw that together. I can pull this sprinkler head right off and I can stick this straight in the ground. So that, my friends, is what we're gonna do. Then we're gonna attach some soaker line onto these little heads, and I'm gonna find the right attachments that I want, and then I'm gonna be able to individually water each of my plants through a soaker line, which is far more effective than blasting the heck out of them with this gigantic sprinkler. Let's get started on swapping this sprinkler head out for this really cool soaker line doohickey. So all we need to do is put on the claw, and of course you're going to want the same tools we've had before. Teflon tape, oh gosh, that scared me. Channel locks and our cool doohickey. So I want to dig down again, being very careful. Okay, see, that's not that far down. See, isn't this cool? Okay, and I'm going to pull this sprinkler head off. Just unscrew it. This is nice because it came out with the riser on it. Sometimes when you're working on your system, you accidentally get some dirt in your sprinkler lines, and dirt is not your friend. Let me show you why. Notice what's happening here. This should be spraying a lot, but it's not. There's hardly any pressure because there's so much dirt and crud in my line, right? And it's clogging my heads. This is the fun part. What you get to do is you get to get the dirt out of the lines. Watch this. So all we're gonna do is, with the water on, which usually you don't do, we're just going to do that. It is super helpful to have two people when you're blowing dirt out of the line, so that one person can be working on making the fountain happen and the other person can immediately turn off the water so that you don't flood your entire garden area. But if you don't have two people, you can deal with it. It's fine. While the water is still at a little trickle coming out, so you go ahead and you screw this on. This is not clogged up with dirt anymore, and it's all clean and it's gonna flow just fine. Well, I'll show you what I mean. But in the meantime, I'm sorry, spiders. There were about 3 of them that came out and were like, ah, you ruined our house. Sorry. Always give yourself plenty of time when you turn on the sprinkler system to walk to and from your sprinkler box. Now, look at the difference that made. This is spraying exactly like it needs to be. So the last step, I'm sorry, spider, I feel so bad. So the next step in this process is gonna be shutting off the water at my sprinkler box and hooking my soaker lines onto here, and then doing whatever attachment I wanna put on there. I can put that on and you can see what I'm talking about. Whee! So to create our little soaker system, all we're gonna need is some soaker line. This is 1/4 inch soaker line, some scissors, and this time I'm gonna do these adjustable multi-stream stakes as opposed to the little drippers like this, because I'm gonna try them out and see how they work for the garden over here. So the first thing I wanna do is I wanna take some of my soaker line and cut it nice and neatly. So I want to cut it nice and square here. And this is reused soaker line that I've had laying around for a while. I think my dad gave it. I'm going to attach this line onto here like this. This is my sprinkler distribution line. And I'm going to try and shove it as far as I can without destroying it. I've got that on, and the nice thing about these is they rotate, so you can set them at any angle that you'd like. This is what I'm gonna be using. It's just a multiport sprayer. I'm just gonna take this sprinkler line and I'm gonna attach it here. And if you twist it, it works well. Again, a little mama spit works sometimes too, but my hands are already wet, so. And I'm gonna stake that in. And the other thing I want to do is, I didn't bring out my little landscaping stakes, but I want to spike this down so that nobody trips over it, and mostly so it stays out of the way. And yay, that looks good. So I'm going to continue when I have to go back to the hardware store and get more soaker line, or go visit my neighbor because he keeps bugging me to go visit him because he's got a whole bunch of sprinkler supplies. I am back from my neighbor's house, and not only did I score a bunch of soaker line, but the value of having amazing neighbors is I also scored this beautiful onion, some fabulous garlic, and all of this just amazing basil, which I am so thrilled about. I'm so excited I didn't have to run to the hardware store. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, happy neighbors. Thank you. I love my neighbors. I love my neighbors. My neighbors are the best. Boom, ba. So I'm going to use some of the soaker line that my neighbor gave to me. The problem is this one's a little too short, but that is not a problem because I have these little coupling devices, so I can connect the two pieces of 1/4-inch soaker line together. To do this, it's just like any other coupler. Remember, a little mama spit on here. I'm sorry, that's probably really grossing you out. We're gonna work this in like this. Here we go. Just like that. See another section of line here. A little more mama spit on there, and there we go. Ta-da! We have spliced this line together. Should we test them out, see what we've got?
Sure, why not? What could go wrong?
No, just... I do need to move those, adjust them a little bit closer to that. See, there's a gap. I don't want a gap. But it looks like nothing is happening here, right? That's because all you have to do to get water is to just twist them. And you can twist these heads. They click. And it gives you more water out of each of the ports, or less water. If you go, yep, or less, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I'm gonna try to scooch that on a little bit more so you can rotate. Ah! Whoopsies!
Mommy!
Well, that's what happens when you're working with sprinkler line sometimes. Okay, screw it on. Sometimes it helps to kind of push like from here because you want to make the end fat over here, and that's what helps it go on it's on there. Okay, there we go. Sometimes if you're having a real hard time, you can use just very gently. You don't want to crack anything. Just use this to hold a little bit better. It's going. It's just slow. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, hooray. There we go. That, I think I lost a top over here. Yep, I blew the top off. Apparently, I like little fountains. Okay, here we go. And my soaker line looks good. So the last little thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my gardening glove and I'm gonna fill in the hole around my sprinkler. All right, so let's grab the claw gloves. Let's fill back in around here. Before I leave you today, I just want to encourage you to get out and meet some new neighbors. If you don't know your neighbors, go introduce yourself. If you do know them, invite them over for dinner or sit outside and have coffee with them or chat. Just get to know your neighbors and form that community, because with community keeps us all strong and happy. I'm Amy Giaquinto, and I am Mama Fix-It, and that is how you get your sprinkler system de-winterized, and you solve the problem of not having a soaker line that's working, and you fix your valves and PVC, all of that. So this concludes my sprinkler series. Yay! It only took 3 parts to make it happen, but it happened. If you like my videos, please be sure to like and subscribe. You can click those buttons right down there. And then you can also check out my website at www.amygiaquinto.com. You can follow me on social media at Giaquinto Productions LLC. And if you really love my videos, please, please, please share them with your friends and family and anyone who might need help doing this kind of weird and random home improvement stuff. All right, until next time, we'll see you later. Bye. Whoopsie! Oh my God. Okay, wait. Should we test them out and see what we've got?
Sure.
Do that again. Sure. Okay.
Sure.